Alright guys, I opened up the box on this thing, got a little bit ahead of myself here, realized I should be recording a little bit, so busted everything out. I got the dash. This is just the regular IQ3, see the model number there, and then this wasn't here, but these are just mounting screws. This is where the V-net, what they call their own little CAN bus connectors, go for your information. And this is like power and ground and some other setup things with their little Deutschworks, I guess you could call it, connector. Whoever makes this thing. Anyway, when you plug it into the computer, I guess it gets power somewhere else if you're using it as a data logger. So it says here, I was wondering why they gave me the power wire separate, but right in here it says you need to add the power wire to pin 2. And all I did was I popped this connector open. Just work on it really nice and don't bust the shit out of it. And then I just slid in on number 2 there. It just is marked number 2. I pulled out, it had a plug right there with some needle nose right there, and I put the pin in till it clicked, and then I clicked the connector back in. And then what I wanted to do for fun to make sure everything worked was, you can see the little teeth go on the bottom, it's keyed. And then I pulled this to see what kind of data connector, and it's just like a micro squirt. It has like a 3.5mm COM port. And then I have a 12-volt power supply over here that I use to test shit. Well, before we do that, we'll plug in. I got my desktop here that I do some configuration and ECU stuff on. So a really cool thing is they send their software in a fucking USB drive. How awesome is that? In a little racepak USB drive. I mean, I was thinking to myself earlier today, man, I hope they don't give me fucking CD-ROM. I don't even have a CD-ROM on my laptop. I got extra battery bay. But I plugged this in, installed the software. It's COM port, that's 3.5mm jack. And then it's super simple. I quick strip these wires. This is my super sophisticated 12-volt power supply here. Little alligator clip. And watch this when we get alligator clip to power. Plug this guy in. Wow, fancy. Now, I went in here a little bit ahead and made sure all this would work so my video wouldn't be 25 minutes long. So I already changed like tach, engine coolant temp, and then I set up warning light over here to turn on if the engine was hot or the alternator wasn't charging correctly. So if that red light's on, I have a problem. And what it does is, right now, it'll flash here, it'll say like the alternator, you know, isn't charging. So I'm messing around with that stuff, but I just fired up their software, and then in here is where you can choose all of the things and then flash them to the display. What I'll end up doing is with these wires, you can set up 4 configurations, and you can jump between the configurations with some of those wires there with a switch. So I'll mess with that stuff later. Don't really want to screw with it now, rather get it installed and working immediately. And then since this is Megasquirt CAN bus, it shows you here like EFI. These are the things you can look at. This is all it can grab through the CAN bus. So from here is where you would choose like EFI, H2O, temperature, super simple. You can change this from engine coolant temp or whatever you want, and then right there you can just hit send configuration and it'll just send it right over. Like if we want to, right here it says engine coolant temp. We'll go up here and we'll type in Jimmy. See if we can fit Jimmy. Oh yeah, I got caps lock on. Caps lock is cruise control for cool, ladies and gentlemen. I wonder how many characters I can fit in there. Jimmy! You can write all sorts of stupid shit in here, I assume. But yeah, I'll just make that ECT, or we'll say H2O. Is that easy enough? People will be like, what's H20? I don't understand. H2O, super easy. And from there, I just wanted to make sure I could configure it out here instead of crawling around in the car. So now I will just take the power and ground, hook them up to my fuse panel, drop a 10 amp fuse in, and then start connecting. Basically, you buy this guy. This is their, you can see VM, EFI, scan, and the Megasquirt CAN interface. So you plug this in to the Megasquirt CAN bus. I have to check which one's H and L, and then plug this into the dash, and bam, it gets everything from the ECU. You don't have to wire anything other than this right here. So hopefully that goes well, and then we will go from there. Alright guys, there's some very good instructions with this. That's my mess that the ABS thing covers and my launch control button that I just added. But I got the CAN wires plugged into the interface, and I got these. I got to tidy it up, but you got to make sure it works before you clean it up a little. Otherwise you put everything away and nothing works. But I added the dash to my fuse panel here. This is a key on fuse panel. This is a power on always fuse panel. So just the two separate there. There's the trans controller stuffed in there. And then it comes with very good instructions, I have to say. And then here is like a quick Megasquirt, enable broadcasting. And I set everything up and connected everything and made sure it works, but I haven't started it yet, so we'll see how that works. But you go in, they tell you here, CAN test modes, you got to turn on broadcasting, which data you're going to broadcast. You can actually just not broadcast a bunch of data, so you're just not hammering the CAN line. And then in dash broadcasting, you turn stuff on, blah blah blah. And then the moment of truth was I keyed it on here, and it says H2O 43 battery 11.3 and map 98 kPa. So voltage up, tach's working, map sensor's working. Pretty awesome. Pretty incredible. Configuration error. Whatever. But pretty awesome. Everything's there. Very happy with that. Awesome. Well, put all this shit away, clean some stuff up, and put this all together in a video. Mount that dash. Alright guys, got everything closed up, patched up, cleaned up, mounted my dash in here. I mounted it to the left a little bit. It's nice. That way I can still use my wideband. The wideband's been there, it's always been there, so I can display air fuel on the racepack, but why, since the wideband is already there? So I put a little mounting bracket in there. You can still see it. I could take it out and paint it if I really care. And one thing I did for fun was I customized some of the things just for fun, like it says vroom and boost and stuff. You can do that instead. And one neat thing I want to do is the water temp thing is larger than the lower, so I want to make my boost the water and put my water temp down in the center. I'd rather be looking at my boost. I don't really have water temp issues, so we're going to go back into the configuration wizard here, and we're going to go here where it says H2O temp. Holding my phone, not ideal here. So what we'll do is we'll change this guy to map. I really got to put a relay. Well, I got to wire it to like our engine running source. That fan, it just fucking boost. And then we're gonna go H2O temp, water. Oh, hit OK. And then it's super easy. All you got to do is hit send configuration. That sends, and then watch, bloop, water and boost get exchanged. Pretty awesome. It's super easy to do. That's how you change configurations. And then you can wire up a switch, which I want to do. You can wire buttons to cycle through the dash, which I definitely want to do. But again, it's working great. That's through the CAN bus, just 2 wires. I even set that voltage warning. It dropped below 10 volts and turned on the warning.